The Bad Batch, and yeah, this one was a pretty good show as well. I think my only like downside is that I kind of wish it was just kind of more like a self-contained series that didn't necessarily kind of continue on to a season 2. Maybe we'll see what happens with season 2. I think they had a really good arc with this series, because at first I thought it was gonna kind of be where it's kind of about the Bad Batch and they're kind of on this kind of like last mission, which would have kind of been cool if like Omega was kind of like Ryan in a way, and they had to like save her from Kamino and from all these different Imperials who are trying to go after her, because she's like another clone, another unaltered clone, kind of like Boba Fett was, and kind of be on the run. And then maybe each one of them kind of sacrifices themselves like as the series goes on, until they kind of get her to kind of like the safe haven area where she can kind of live on and thrive. But yeah, I mean, obviously Dave Filoni has an overall story that he wants to tell. And just based on the trailer for Bad Batch season 2, you can tell there's going to be a lot more obstacles that they have to overcome, with Crosshair kind of on their tail, and then obviously with the Imperials and the Kaminoans with their whole scheming at the end of season 1. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that would really be like my only kind of like criticism for that series. I think it was really cool at the beginning how it takes place like during Order 66, and it shows little young Kanan on the run with his master, and then seeing his master killed off, and then him running off from the Bad Batch, and then feeling kind of conflicted, like, what's going on, what's happening? And I think it was really interesting, the fact they're not really affected by the whole Order 66, the chip in their brain to make them turn against the Jedi, where they're kind of like more aware of everything. I think if like this was kind of like more of like a limited series, not necessarily like there's not like a season 2 or 3 or wherever they decide to go, but if like they kind of just made this more like maybe like 10 episodes instead of like 16 episodes that they have here, if they kind of just had like a serialized show where every episode there's like a different obstacle they have to overcome, and there can just be more of like a through line, and then as the show goes on, maybe they can like sacrifice themselves, or like one of them can sacrifice themselves or something, and can have like a resolution at the end of the series or at the end of the season. But yeah, that's really like my only criticism, just because there's just like a couple episodes early on where they're kind of like going from like place to place, and obviously they're on the run and everything, and they kind of have like their little side quests that don't really connect with the overall story. They're just kind of like fun adventures here and there, which I thought could have been cut out. Kind of like what I was saying before, gonna kind of have like that family friendly element to it, just because it's an animated show. It's more like, more focused for kids. So you have to have like the Omega character in there to kind of have that audience connection. I guess it's just like, it's interesting because it's like, it's like the Bad Batch is like this kind of like Clone Wars spinoff. So you're thinking it's going to be kind of like this like gritty like war show and everything. But then you have like, this like little cute little Omega character in there. And you kind of like that juxtaposition. I feel like that's kind of like the theme now that they have with Disney Star Wars, is you got to have like the dark and the light, the balance, where you kind of have like the older, wise, mature, gritty characters, and you have like the the younger kind of immature kind of like impulsive characters, and you have to combine them. They've kind of been doing that with Rebels with like Kanan and Ezra. They've been doing it with Bad Batch with the Bad Batch and Omega. They've kind of been doing that with like Obi-Wan with Obi-Wan and little Leia, again, which is totally fine. You gotta have that kind of family friendly audience, because like Fast and Furious say, no, it's all about family, or like Guardians of the Galaxy, this is my family. It would be nice to kind of like that more kind of like just a grittier feel in Star Wars, with the animation, kind of like what they did with Clone Wars. I'm glad they were doing that kind of more like with Andor and everything. But for the animated shows, if they have kind of more that's more like for like a teen audience, and then like a middle grade audience, and then for like the younger audiences, which I feel like they are doing that. But it'd just be nice to have more, I guess, consistency. It was like it's animated, just have it more for like the younger audience, but if it's live action, before like the older audience or something. But yeah, that's like my only like critique of the show. I kind of expect it to be more like a darker, intense show, and then as soon as Omega came in, you kind of, I guess, gotta have that heart in the show. Overall, yeah, it's a good show, and I look forward to see what Dave Filoni has in store for season 2. And just based on the trailers, I think it could be really compelling. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. The Bad Batch season 2, and yeah, I'm actually pretty excited about this one. As far as like the first season, I wasn't like the hugest fan of it, but I thought there were some episodes that were actually really entertaining. And I'm actually really excited about this next season, just based on the trailers and everything that we've gotten. Just really looks like Omega and the Bad Batch are kind of gonna get really into the fight, and they're gonna kind kind of explore different worlds and different planets, and there's going to be like a lot of cool action. It just looks like from the trailers we're going to get more like tie-ins to, you know, the overall empire, you know, what their schemes are, what their plans are. I'm hoping that we kind of get like that rousing conclusion to the Bad Batch's storyline, because I have no idea if they're going to do like a season 3 or anything. If you see my last video where I kind of give my thoughts on season 2, like I was kind of hoping that it would be kind of more like a Saving Private Ryan type story, where, you know, the Bad Batch are teamed up with Omega and they're kind of journeying from place to place, you know, on the run, doing all these different missions, and then maybe like as the story goes on, you know, they kind of get sacrificed and they have to take Omega to this kind of safe haven at the end. So I'm hoping they kind of do that with this one. You know, it just seems like, you know, they're really gonna bump into, you know, different characters. You know, the stakes are gonna be raised a little bit more. You know, we're gonna see the Emperor and like Masameda and, you know, Commander Cody, and the moment that we just kind of get more like conflict and just more, you know, like battles and, you know, just personal things going on. But yeah, I think this could be like a really good opportunity for the Bad Batch and Omega to really kind of grow as characters in a way, just because in the first season Omega was kind of like at odds with the characters a little bit more, and like it was really kind of just them kind of becoming this family, so to speak. You know, since they're all clones, they're all technically related, so it's kind of cool seeing them kind of come together as a unit. So yeah, I'm hoping like with this one we kind of delve more deeply into their characters. You know, if they end up sacrificing, you know, the Bad Batch characters, maybe we can get kind of like that emotional connection that we were establishing from season 1, and then what it looks like they're going to be doing in season 2. But yeah, as far as the characters, it just looks like they're really going to be put to the test. You know, Omega has her, you know, laser bow and arrow thing going on, so that looks pretty cool. Bad Batch looks like they have like different armor, you know, different weapons. You know, they're battling those giant crab creatures on that beach planet, so it really looks like they're gonna jump into the fight, and, you know, it's gonna be like pretty epic and amazing. So yeah, I'm really hoping that we get that with season 2, and I'm hoping that we kind of see more of like the consequences of how the Empire is affecting the galaxy overall. Like I said before, we're gonna see more of the Emperor and like Masameda and Cody. So I'm hoping that we kind of see that transition, because we kind of got a little bit of it in season 1, where it was like that first episode where we see that kind of recreation of the scene in Revenge of the Sith, where the Emperor is giving that speech. The Republic would be reorganized into the first galactic empire for a safe and secure society. So it'd be cool to see more of the effects on that, and like I'm hoping that we get to see more Tarkin in there and kind of have that more of that smooth transition between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Kind of get more like Rebels tie-ins here and there. Oh yeah, and those other characters, we're going to see a little Gunji, the Wookiee Padawan with his green lightsaber. I saw that in the trailer. So that'd be cool to kind of see some more Jedi tie-ins, kind of see more of like the purge of the Jedi, because we didn't really get that in Rebels, you know, because that was kind of like more towards A New Hope era. I was hoping that we'd kind of see more of it in Obi-Wan, but we didn't really get to see that. So, you know, maybe he's like one of the younglings who got away. Like I don't know if he'll be sacrificed in this show. It might be a little too dark for, you know, for the kids and everything, but, you know, I'm hoping that we see characters on the run. You know, obviously we got that in season 1, so I'm hoping that we get more of that in season 2, just characters on the run, and then realizing, you know, we can't be on the run anymore. We really have to join to the fight, help start up this rebellion, and then kind of transition to like the Rebels time a little bit. You know, kind of like what we got with Andor, where like Andor was like on the run for most of the series, and then by the end of it, you know, he's fully into the fight. So I'm hoping that we kind of get more of that, because I know we're getting Cody in this one, and, you know, I was researching that he's kind of more on the Empire's side. You know, I'm hoping that when we see the Bad Batch kind of interact with him, you know, maybe he'll be kind of like a crosshair character where, you know, he's fully for the Empire, you know, good soldiers always follow orders, and then he kind of has that transition where it's like, you know, I'm seeing the cracks of the Empire, and, you know, I really have to join to the fight with the rebellion, because, you know, we haven't seen him in like Rebels, so maybe he'll sacrifice himself for the Bad Batch. Maybe he'll fight alongside with the Bad Batch, and then he'll be sacrificed along with them. And then, you know, we don't know what happens to Omega. Maybe she'll pop up in another like live action show, maybe like Ahsoka or something. But yeah, I mean, she's like this unaltered clone of Jango Fett, so obviously she has some importance to her. So I'm hoping that they kind of explore more of that of her character. Overall, you know, I'm excited for season 2 of the Bad Batch. Like I said before, like I wasn't like the biggest fan of season 1. I liked it, but I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for season 2, just because I thought it was gonna kind of be like a one and done series, gonna be like the transition from Revenge of the Sith to Rebels, where the clones are, you know, phased out, and then we kind of see more of the stormtroopers raised up, which we did get a little bit in season 1, but I thought it was gonna be kind of more about that. But obviously, you know, Dave Filoni is in charge of everything, so he has an overall plan, whether that be this this continues into season 3, or if everything kind of just wraps up here in season 2 and kind of transitions smoothly into Rebels, then we'll see. Because I know we're getting like 12 episodes for this, so it's plenty of time to tell like a really good story and wrap up storylines and everything. But yeah, overall, I'm really excited. I enjoyed the trailer, and January 4th can't come soon enough, so we'll see what happens with that one.